right, welcome. My name's Andrew Waldom, and I'm here today in the studio with Hoyt and with Macy, and we are here to talk about internships. And I have a few questions for you because I know that you've both, actually you're doing an internship currently, Macy, right? And Hoyt, you did one this past summer, is that correct?
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about where you were at, Hoyt.
Yeah, so I had an internship at Vanguard up in Scottsdale. They also have three other locations, but I decided to stay over in Arizona.
Scottsdale, okay, so cool. So Vanguard, a very big company,
yes.
Right? We're talking really big here. So I'll come back. I want to find out more about that. But Macy, what about you?
Yeah, this summer I had the pleasure of interning at Morgan Stanley in the Lake Oswego, Oregon office. Okay. So that was a great experience. I got to kind of see what corporate life is like in the finance industry. And then this semester, or this entire year, my senior year, like you mentioned, I'm doing an internship now at Underhill Financial Advisors. So more of an RIA kind of company in Tucson, Arizona.
That's super cool. So you did one, so you actually went back. Oregon is more where you're from, right?
Correct.
So you went back to Oregon for a summer internship. So that's cool. So you went back home essentially. And then now you're doing another internship in school, but two different sizes, right? Different types of firms. That's really cool that you're doing two. Hoyt, I wanted to ask, with Vanguard, how did you get that internship? Because I know that it's a pretty competitive one.
Yeah, so Daniel Southers, who's a recruiter at Vanguard, came to our class, the class 310, so it's the fundamentals class, and he spoke about the internship as a way to kind of expand their horizons and expand their outreach. And so I applied after hearing that presentation, and I went through the whole interview process. I did a total of 3 interviews and then a phone call. And I got it, and I was super excited. So that's kind of the process of how I got it. Just he came in through the class, did the interviews, and then got an offer.
Super cool. Congratulations for that. And Macy, what about you? How did you get your 2 internships?
Yeah, so the first one, the Morgan Stanley one, I applied online through LinkedIn actually, and also reached out to some connections I had made previously throughout the years, just kind of doing some networking. So I reached out there personally and made that connection, which allowed me to, further the relationship to get the internship. So that was an awesome experience. And then my current one actually was through the Personal and Family Financial Planning Springboard event that you guys hold every semester, every year. And I actually met Underhill there and gave them my resume and started that relationship there and went for an interview, and yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. So what would you both say has been maybe your biggest takeaways from your internship? Like what did you get out of it?
Yeah, so for me, I love the program and I love what it teaches us, but there's a whole aspect of financial planning that doesn't get taught at any program, which is how to communicate with clients. And as that's a huge part in the actual financial planning process, it was really cool to be able to see how different advisors speak with clients in a real world setting, not just kind of a mock trial in a sense. And it was extremely helpful to kind of create my own financial planning voice as I go out into the industry.
That's awesome. So that communication aspect was really big for you. What about you, Macy?
Yeah. I think my biggest takeaway from, being at both of the internships was really getting to kind of understand the industry in itself. You hear about it, you learn about it, kind of similar to Hoyt, but it isn't until you actually go into the internship that you really fully grasp kind of the ins and outs. So again, learning, appropriate client manners and, doing that research using different platforms that they offer. I think that's been the biggest takeaway in itself, is just expanding that knowledge further.
That's really cool. So last question for both of you. If a student is getting ready to apply for an internship or trying to even find an internship, what tips, like if you were to offer them a couple tips to here's what you should do to get this internship, what would you recommend? Hoyt, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so I'd say do your research definitely on the firm. So get to know the firm a little bit, whether it's big or small. They'll have a website, go on, read about them, read what they stand for, maybe their niche. But I would also say just be yourself. firm's going to like you for who you are more than they will your resume, and so will clients. So it's kind of a great way to step into the real world, is to just be yourself in the interviews. Don't try and fake anything. They'll like you or they won't like you, and hopefully they do.
Okay, great. Macy?
Yeah, similar to that, my biggest tip would be go to their LinkedIn, to the person who you're going to interview, look at their past, their interests, what they're interested in. Again, for me, during my interview process, I saw we had a relation or a similarity, similar interest of Greek life. And so I brought that up in the interview, and it was super personalized. It made that very special. But also another big tip would be to do a follow-up email. Those are super important. Explain, like, again, thank you so much for the time, and just kind of put in that extra effort that maybe other students aren't doing.
Mm-hmm. That's great, both of those tips. So thank you both for your time today. Really appreciate your insight, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.